Now I'm going to run through these pretty quickly, so please pay close attention. These methods have been tested thousands of times, and the strategies and steps I've included for you are the ones that have been proven in the trenches to work. It's like baking a cake. Leave an ingredient out or change something, and your cake is not going to taste as good as mine. Even worse, you run the risk of ruining your cake. Remember, not only do you want to get a compelling video testimonial out of each interviewee, but you want the experience to be exciting and fun for your client, your customer, or your patient. If you're unsure of yourself, if you're unorganized, or if you forget to charge your battery or whatever. Hey everybody, I'm Ken Newhouse, and I'm going to welcome you to the Get Clients Now podcast, the show where high-growth consultants and professionals come to access the newest and most effective methods and systems for online marketing, advanced sales and persuasive communication strategies, and automated marketing funnels. And if you're wondering if the Get Clients Now podcast can help you get more high-value clients, enjoy more sales, build a massive tribe, and make more money, you're absolutely going to love this show.
Newhouse's work completely blows everything else that we've ever done with Google out of the water.
I have been looking for a way to grow my presence online, and what I've viewed from Newhouse's work was something that certainly is faster than anything I've seen before.
He says he's going to do something and he does it. He does it in the time frame that he says he's going to do it in. It's exciting when you talk about the results that you're going to get, and you can believe his word because he follows it up with action.
The Newhouse is direct, he's to the point, he tells you what's on his mind, and he backs his words up. From what I know now, from working with him, he's passionate about his work, and he backs it up 100%.
What I like best is you offer something that no one else has out there, which is a pretty comprehensive approach about marketing a system.
If somebody asks me, should they use Newhouse's team? Absolutely, because you're going to get the important information that you need very, very quickly.
On the internet, on the different marketing techniques, I've never experienced anything like this.
I would definitely recommend Ken Newhouse for someone who's serious about growing their business. I think that your results based on the numbers would at least double the sales in a very short time frame.
Hey everybody, Ken Newhouse here from kennewhouse.com, and I want to welcome you back to the Get Clients Now podcast, where the one-size-fits-all marketing model is dumb, the client-centric business model is king, and leading experts share strategies and methods that you can use to accelerate brand acceptance, skyrocket your significance in the marketplace, and elevate your status so you can build your tribe with certainty. Today's episode number 354 of the Get Clients Now podcast, and on today's episode, you're getting access to one of the cornerstone trainings in our Storymonials system. Today's training is going to show you my exact process for getting outcome-based video testimonials from your clients, and I'll talk more about why this process is important to you in just a minute. But first, if you're asking yourself, what is a storymonial? Let me explain. The closest thing that are related to storymonials are outcome-based video testimonials, but that comparison is superficial at best. In fact, the best illustration I could give you is to say that storymonials are to outcome-based video testimonials are like what my iPhone 11 Pro Max was to my first flip phone. You know, when the flip phone first came out years ago, and I don't even know how many years ago that was, it seems like, 20 or 30 years ago, but I know it wasn't that long ago, obviously. But when flip phones first came out, they were the best thing going. But when I compare that same flip phone to my iPhone, and yes, I still have my very first flip phone, when I compare those two, it's a superficial comparison at best, because the iPhone is so much more advanced. And the same thing can be said when comparing storymonials with outcome-based video testimonials. So quickly, let me tell you about storymonials. Storymonials are created using a process I came up with that, number one, incorporates the most powerful persuasion elements of story, of metaphor, of hypnotic selling, and what makes storymonials so incredibly powerful is that they literally get clients to do the selling for you. Listen, everybody knows that now, more than ever, as our economy literally has been shaken to its knees by the coronavirus crisis, the trust threshold that you have to cross, the trust bar that you've got to bring your prospects over before they're going to pull out their credit card and give you money is higher than it's been in my lifetime, and I'm sure in your lifetime as well. So as getting the attention of your prospects, getting attention in the marketplace has become all but impossible. You're going to need an advantage. You're going to need a process. You're going to need a tool that you can deploy that bridges the trust gap, grabs and holds your prospects' attention, gives them confidence, and that what you're saying can be trusted and relied upon. You're going to need the one thing that can do that consistently, which is storymonials. In fact, storymonials, as I said, are so effective that they literally get your clients to do the selling for you. Now, We simply do not have the time to go into everything involved in creating Storymonials on today's show, but I do have time to tell you what Storymonials are not. Storymonials are not simply testimonials. In fact, I can guarantee that unless you're one of the clients that I've tested these with, or you're a customer or a client or patient of one of these clients, you've never seen anything like a storymonial or the process for creating them. I've invested almost 3 years in this process, and while no one could have anticipated the current COVID-19 crisis, it's given us the perfect environment for testing and proving that Storymonials can work for you, that Storymonials can get clients to do the selling for you, in any economy and in virtually any industry or niche. So after seeing your Storymonials, prospects are literally going to be begging to buy your stuff. So back to today's episode and what it's about. Today's episode is one of the 5 trainings included in the Storymonial system, and this is where we teach you how to get powerful outcome-based video testimonials. Not Storymonials, but outcome-based video testimonials, which are not the same thing. Okay, Ken, if Storymonials can get clients to do the selling for me, and they're not only different from testimonials, but far, far better, why are you on today's episode teaching me how to get testimonials on video? Well, that's a great question. I'm showing you my process for getting powerful outcome-based video testimonials on today's episode because, number 1, they will hands down increase your conversion ratio. Number 2, you can and you actually should be using them right now to help you sell more stuff. Number 3, this process of getting outcome-based video testimonials is an integral part of the Storymonial system, and at some point you want to learn this process so you can deploy the Storymonial system in your business. So what I'm giving you today is part of a system that you can only access by paying for it, and I'm giving it to you today 100% free. Nothing to sell, no strings attached, I'm giving it to you. Now, why am I doing this? This is instructive for you, so please pay attention. It makes total sense for me to give away my best stuff because if you decide to use it, test it for yourself, see that it works, and see that it can help you get clients and sell stuff like right now, you'll get great results and you'll be able to make up your own mind and know that what I'm telling you about Storymonials is true. And so that's why I'm giving you my best stuff. And in fact, that's why you should do the same thing in your market. You should give away your best stuff. Okay, that's going to wrap up my mini intro, but just know this. What I'm giving you on today's episode is something that you normally can only access by paying for it. So the clock is running and I'm ready to get started. So if you're ready, let's roll. Hey everybody, Ken Newhouse here from kennewhouse.com, and I want to welcome you back to video number 2 of the Social Proof Selling video training we're going to be doing. And if you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and pick back up with the training. And in this second video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process for getting video testimonials from your existing clients, customers, or patients. And I'm going to show you a process we've honed and perfected over the last 20 plus years so you can get incredibly powerful social proof-based videos quickly and easily. And then once I've taken you through these steps, I'll show you several of the best, most effective methods for using your video testimonials so you can get tons and tons of new business, and so you can have prospects coming into your business predisposed and ready to buy what you're selling before they've ever met or seen your sales presentation, which is awesome. Now, before we get started, I want to remind you of the number 1 reason you want to get and deploy video testimonials from your clients, customers, or patients, which is this. You want to use video testimonials so you can let your existing clients, customer, patients sell it for you. You want to use video testimonials so you can have prospects calling and coming to see you predisposed and ready to buy what you're selling so you can enjoy a sales process that is easy, effortless, and fun. Now, the number 1 most important fact I want to impress upon you today is this. What your clients, customers, or patients say about you and what they say about the outcomes that you've helped them realize are incredibly important. And in fact, it's 100 times more important than what you say about yourself in your marketing and your advertising. Listen, most high-level marketers and business owners understand this, but virtually no one knows that there is an additional component that all effective testimonial videos have, and this is the reason why most of the video testimonials your competitors create and deploy don't work. They don't work because they're missing this additional component. See, it's not only what people are saying about you on your testimonial videos, it's how they're saying what they're saying about you and the outcomes you've helped them realize. And so how they say what they're saying can, in and of itself, have a dramatic effect on whether or not prospects will buy from you. So the way the person giving the testimonial sounds is just as important as what he or she says in the video. See, here's the deal. People, specifically your prospects, will put labels on you before they ever hear what you have to say. Now, if we know this to be true, if we know that someone's going to give us a label the minute they hear someone talk about us, the minute they check out our website, the minute they see us or hear our voice, that means we have a choice. We can choose to deliberately create the label that they give us. Imagine if you had control over the way people perceive you, your products and services, or your brand before they ever had a chance to see your offer. Imagine if you could engineer the label that you wanted them to assign to you and cause them to assign that label to you before they ever even had a chance to buy anything. You could actually cause them to want your products and services before you even tried to make the sale, which, if you do a good job of that, you can totally eliminate the need to be highly skilled at selling. That's why in video number 1 I said, I'm the worst salesman in the world, but I'm still able to sell a lot of things. And my secret for selling lots and lots of stuff in the marketplace is in being able to implant and create those labels with social proof-based testimonial videos and trigger those implicit internal decisions in my prospects. And on today's training, I'm going to show you a foolproof system of how you can do that too. Now, the reason you want to use social proof selling in your business is so you can generate more leads, get more prospects, increase conversions, and when more people are saying yes to you in your sales presentations, obviously you're going to make more sales, right? You're also going to enjoy more referrals, which will make your business or practice consistently more profitable. So if you're ready to learn how to put video testimonials and the power of social proof selling to work for you in your business, let's roll. So the first thing we want to do is get the big picture of this process. And we'll do that from like a 30,000 foot view, which will allow us to break this process down into bite-sized chunks so you can implement it quickly and easily. And the way we're going to do that is by using what's called the escape and arrival framework. And with the escape and arrival framework, we start from where you are now, where you're not getting video testimonials from your existing clients, customers, or patients. And that means you're not leveraging the power of the social proof sales system in your business, and you're making far less money than you could be. And I'm going to take you over here on the right side of the framework, where you're getting video testimonials quickly and easily from your existing clients, customers, or patients, which means you'll be putting the social proof sales system to work for you in your business. So what we need to know is how to get from the left side of this framework over here to the right side of the framework, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We'll start by drawing a line from the left over here to the right side like so, and then we want to start adding in a line for each of the milestones we have to achieve in this process. And in this process, there are a total of 8 milestones that we have to cover. Okay, so now that I've actually drawn those lines in the framework, pretty fancy, don't you think? We're going to actually start adding the descriptions in for each of our milestones. And our first milestone is to decide on the outcomes you want your testimonials to produce. And the way you want to do that is to think about and write down as an example the 10 most common reasons prospects won't book appointments with you, and the 10 most common reasons that prospects who actually sit through your sales presentation give for not moving forward and giving you money. So those are just examples. What you want to do here is you want to figure out the primary reasons people either don't choose to do business with you versus your competition, why they don't choose you versus some other option, and why, after sitting through your sales presentation, they say no, or I want to think about it. I would also figure out why some people don't refer and others do. And then once you've figured out all the reasons prospects end up not choosing to go with you and why some of your existing clients don't refer, you'll have a list of ideas to create your desired outcomes from. So as an example, if a good percentage of your existing clients aren't referring others, a great outcome for that would be to create a handful of social proof sales videos that inspire people, your prospects and actual clients, to refer to you. Make sense? Okay, and then the second milestone is where you'll need to craft and write targeted questions for the interviews. See, once you decide on the outcomes you want your video testimonials to produce, you'll use those outcomes to write your questions. And let me just throw something out here to you because this is very, very important, and it's this. The quality of your questions always determines the quality of the answers you get. So you want to think through the outcomes you want on your videos and then write interview questions in a way that when they're answered, your clients will give you exactly what you're looking for. So as an example, if I were a dentist and I knew that approximately half of my new patients were terrified of coming to the dentist, I would identify a couple, 2 or 3 of my existing patients who initially came to me, well, terrified. And after a few visits with me, they realized, hey, Dr. Ken's not going to hurt me or whatever. this isn't so bad after all. And so I would craft a question for that particular outcome that would sound something like this. Mary, you were terrified when you first came in to see me as a new patient. And you'd actually been putting off coming to the dentist for 2 years because of that fear. So take a minute or two and tell me about the fear you had before you became my patient and how you were pleasantly surprised when you discovered that in Dr. Ken's office, there's never any reason to be afraid. And then talk about how I've never hurt you or caused you pain and everything has gone swimmingly well, right? And so that's a quick example of how that process works. Step number 3 in this process is to choose the optimal candidates to be interviewed for your testimonial videos, which based on what I just told you, should be very, very easy to do. Now, having said that, make sure to do your due diligence here because this is one of the milestones where I see people making the most mistakes. They get lazy and rush through the process of figuring out who their best candidates are, and their mistake occurs when they overlook one or more people that could give them what I like to call $1 million social proof sales testimonial videos. You know, earlier I gave you an example of how to formulate questions, and if I continued with that example where I was the dentist, and no, I'm not really a dentist, I'm pretending in this example, but let's go back to the patient who, when she first came to me, was literally terrified of going to the dentist. A great example of $1 million social proof sales testimonial on video would be when, in this case, a patient said, you know, when I first came to see Dr. Newhouse, it had been over 2 years since I'd been to the dentist. I'd had a terrible experience with the previous 2 dentists I saw, and I was terrified to go through that kind of pain ever again. So I waited and kept putting it off, and finally, my best friend Sally told me about Dr. Newhouse. She told me that he had an incredible chairside manner, that he was a great listener, he was kind and caring, he never made her feel rushed, and he never caused her even the slightest bit of discomfort. She believed in Dr. Newhouse so much, and that he was the perfect dentist for me and my needs, that she volunteered to take the afternoon off of work to go with me to my appointment. So I made the appointment and came to see Dr. Newhouse, and I was freaking out. I literally felt like I could throw up at any moment, but then something happened. When Dr. Newhouse finally came in the room to see me, he instantly put me at ease. He did my exam and then showed me that I had 2 cavities. That sent the alarm bells off in my head again, but I agreed to let him fix them because quite honestly, I was more afraid of having to have a root canal or even losing them. I have to say, in spite of my fears, Dr. Ken never hurt me, not once. It was the most pleasant experience I've ever had at a dentist's office, and now I'll never be afraid to go to the dentist again as long as the dentist is Dr. Newhouse. Now, that is $1 million social proof sales testimonial. What most people don't realize, whether you're a dentist, a consultant, a small business owner, whatever, chances are excellent that you've got several of those kinds of stories just waiting to be shared by your clients, your customers, or patients. So don't rush through step number 3. Okay, moving on to step number 4, which covers the various methods you can use to invite your clients, customers, or patients to do the interview, and the strategies you'll use to entice or better reward them for participating. Yes, I said reward them. You're not paying them money to do this, but their time is valuable just like yours, and you've got to set this up right if you want them to participate. Remember, you delivered a service to them or sold them a product and they paid you for it, and that means you're in fair exchange with that person. And it would be a huge mistake entering into this believing that somehow this person owes you something. Now, if you don't have any social proof sales testimonial videos yet, one of my favorite strategies for getting a bunch of these done at once is to hold what I call a testimonial contest, where you'll send out an announcement to your client list that says something like this: special announcement. In an effort to improve the service we provide to you, and in an effort to make your experience as delightful, exceptional, and as memorable as possible, we're having a contest, and you can win. We're going to be giving away a variety of prizes, but the person who has the best, most compelling story about working with us, and we can use it to make our business better for you, is going to win the grand prize. And then you'd have a link on a page to your website that said something like, read here for details or whatever, right? And then on your webpage, you're going to list how they can enter, what they can win, the rules and the guidelines for how the contest works, the dates and the times you'll be getting their quote-unquote feedback on video, and then a link to a page where they can actually schedule. Now, a couple quick suggestions you'll want to follow so this can work for you. Number 1, get excited about this so your staff and your clients will get excited too. Next, make sure you offer cool, i.e. quality prizes. Every person who participates should win something, like a $5 Starbucks gift card or whatever, and then I would have 3 or 4 nice prizes like an average size flat screen TV, nothing too huge but nice, so have stuff like that. then I would have one grand prize, like a weekend trip or a cruise or something. Let me quickly mention that I go into specific detail in my new training, Social Proof Profits, but you can give away an enormous amount of cool stuff without spending a dime of your own money, and you do that by setting up joint venture relationships with other business owners and professionals. Now, if time permits, I'll actually dive into this later in the training. Okay, next, number 3. When clients ask you questions about it, tell them that the interviews are done in private, in a quiet setting, and that it's going to be totally relaxed. Like you and Stephanie, who's doing the interviews, are sitting down like a couple friends having a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Remember, just like with public speaking, people can get a little skittish when you set them down in front of a camera, so you have to let them know that this is a totally laid-back process. You have to let them know before you start that you'll probably make a mistake or two while you're interviewing them, and so if they want you to re-ask a question or if they want to rephrase one of their answers or whatever, that is totally okay. You also want to remind them that the video is being recorded and it's not live, so again, it's like we're having two friends sitting down at Starbucks to have a chat. Okay, next. Number 4, the interviews for the contest should occur over a couple-week period. Be sure to give plenty of advance notice to your clients because people are busier than ever today, so you got to plan ahead. Give them plenty of advance notice and keep reminding them all the way up to the day of the interview. Okay, the last element in this milestone is, number 5, send multiple notices to them and use a variety of media to contact them. I'm speaking about email, snail mail, voice blast, text, etc. Okay, let's go ahead and jump back into our timeline and look at the next milestone on the list, which is milestone number 5. The actual process for doing the interviews and everything that's involved. And the process of doing the interviews and doing them correctly begins with step number 1, and that's the equipment you're going to need to capture your videos. Now, if you want to get set up and ready to capture high-quality videos of your clients, the first thing you'll need is a video camera. Now, I use my iPhone 11 Pro Max, but any smartphone with high-resolution video is going to work just fine. The key ingredient when selecting your camera is this. The video it captures and then exports needs to be formatted for use online, and every smartphone that's, like 2 years old or newer has this capability. Now, we used to use the flip camera, but the quality of the video from my iPhone, even my older iPhone, was so much better that we actually stopped using them a long time ago. The goal here is to get you up and running as fast as possible, so in this training, I'm not going to go into all the different types of video cameras you can use. I'll actually cover all that more in Social Proof Selling, the advanced live training I'll be doing online with you in the future. The next piece of equipment you're going to need is a tripod, and in my experience, a tripod made to go on a table or flat surface works best. I know that a few of our dentist clients actually use a handheld camera stick because they're often getting testimonials from patients while they're sitting in the dental chair, and there aren't any flat surfaces they can set up a regular tripod on. The person who shot this video didn't use a tripod, so once I start the video, I want you to pay attention to how much the camera moves around and how distracting it is.
Hey Ryan, how long have you been a patient of Dr. Hughes?
I'm actually not sure.
It's been a long time?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Uh-huh. And what do you like about Dr. Hughes?
Well, basically, he's very confident with the work that he does, and also brings me a sense of comfort when he's needed to do work on me. I needed to have a lot of work done, and he was very calming.
Do you have any fear of dentistry?
I used to, but I don't anymore. He basically put that to an end.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think about his staff?
I love his staff. They pretty much make the environment comfortable, and I no longer have a fear of coming to the dentist anymore because of them.
Is there anything that you think that we could improve in our practice?
I can't really think of anything, to be honest. I mean, it's like coming into family when I come here.
That sounds good. How did it go with your visit today?
Went very well.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't have any trouble, and it's very nice to just come in for maintenance now.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. All right, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Now, unless you're filming patients in a place that doesn't allow it, like our dentist clients filming patients in the dental chair, use a tripod so the camera doesn't move around. Movement distracts people and it's irritating. And then lastly, you're going to need a laptop or desktop computer. Now, if you've got a newer iPhone, you can use GarageBand to edit the video right on your phone and possibly do something similar on an Android phone. But if you don't, you'll need a laptop or desktop, even a tablet to edit the videos, which we'll cover in just a bit. Okay, the last thing I'll mention about your camera and your tripod is this. It needs to be set up and ready to go so that when you bring your client into the room to shoot the video, you're not fumbling around and setting up the equipment. If at all possible, leave your equipment set up in a dedicated space or room. And if you have to use the room for dual purposes, mark the spot where the camera and the tripod go with a small piece of colored tape. Also, I recommend that you put small pieces of colored tape on the floor so you know exactly where your subject is going to sit or stand. Okay, moving on to step number 2, which is lighting. Getting your lighting right is essential to producing high-quality outcome-based video testimonials. And as an example, if you get an amazing video from one of your clients, but the lighting is all wrong and you can't see their face, you're going to find that few people will hang around long enough to watch and listen to the awesome things your client has to say about you, your product, or your service. So then the first question we need to answer is this. Do you need to buy a professional lighting kit? And my answer, unless you're like filming in a dungeon or whatever, is a resounding no. In most cases, you do not need to buy a lighting kit. In fact, in spite of the fact that you can buy a really, really nice lighting package on Amazon for say less than $200, I'm going to suggest that you hold off on buying the lighting because as long as your room has a decent light coming from above, and as long as you don't backlight the person on your video, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, that means that you don't want to put the person you're filming or interviewing in front of a bright window with the bright light behind them. If you do this, you won't be able to see their face, including their facial expressions, which are critically important to the success of your video. Instead, all you're going to see is a dark, blob-like outline of their body and head, and the bright window or light in the background is going to dominate the video, which is lame. To me, this is common sense, but you'd be surprised how many so-called intelligent people make this mistake. So the key to great lighting is this. Make sure that the light source is coming from above and or behind you, the interviewer, and you want to do this so that the light is shining on the face of your subject. You don't want to blind them or anything like that, but you do want to make sure that their face is well lit on the video. Okay, moving on to step number 3. Make sure to shoot your video in a quiet, distraction-free environment as much as possible. Do you know why professional television and radio stations and why I use a noise-proof room for our work? It's because we know that background noise distracts viewers from focusing on the video. And if the people watching your videos aren't focused and attentive, they're not hearing the testimonial. And if they're not hearing the testimonial, you're not leveraging the power of social proof, right? Now, in this next example video, I'm actually training the doctor and his office manager how to interview a patient on video. I wanted to show them the difference between a video shot in a quiet room versus shooting a video in a noisy environment like the one you're about to see, which is incredibly irritating because of all the background noise. In this video is a great example of why you want to shoot videos in a quiet, distraction-free room or area. Once I have the staff close the door, the noise level drops dramatically. But I'm still suggesting that you shoot videos in an environment even more quiet than it gets here when we close the door whenever that is possible. One thing I want to quickly mention before the video actually plays is that the lighting is great. A nice contrasting wall behind the person being interviewed with a nicely lit room illuminating his face. The room in this particular video was only utilizing the light coming from the ceiling. I'll mess up a line, you'll probably mess up a line, it's not a big thing. Yeah. It's just all, yeah, that's all good. Okay.
And your name again?
It's Ken.
Ken. Okay.
Yes, and you are, tell me.
Randy.
Randy.
My name is Randy Gosper.
It's my old pastor, big Randy. All right, so how would you like me to address you, Randy or Mr.?
Randy.
Okay. It's so stressful. I'm just kidding. Okay, this is not a commercial, so remember, just talk to me like we're talking now, and if I want to stop you, I'll stop you quick. Just by the time we're done, you're going to be like, is that really, that's it? Well, that was so easy.
Good.
Okay, so if you could, I'm going to ask your name so you can tell me your name.
Yeah, my name is Randy Gosper.
Okay, and so, hey girls, just real quick, can you come inside and let's talk?
Shut the door. I'm thinking,
we got Power and Michelle.
Okay.
Okay, and so Randy, you are an attorney, so if you could tell me what type of law you practice and where you practice.
I'm an attorney. I have my own law firm, the Gusper Law Firm, and I practice in Clayton, Missouri, and we do general civil practice, a lot of legal collections for doctors, hospitals, used car dealers.
Perfect. See how this is very simple. Okay, now you've been a patient of Dr. Nathan's, or let me ask you this, because I want it to be longer. You've been a patient in this practice for how long?
Oh, it's probably could be 15 years.
Let's do this, or you do that again. That was perfect, but you gotta tell me what I just asked.
Okay.
So how long have you been a patient in the practice here?
I've been a patient of this office for about 15 years with Dr. Nathan Hartman for the 3 years that he's been here.
Excellent, perfect. Okay, and so you just had some cosmetic work done. So what type of work have you most recently had done here?
He replaced these front top 6 teeth. I had caps on the 4, and I had gone to an orthodontist, and he suggested that I have, after I had Invisalign, that I have these 6 replaced. Dr. Hartman originally thought we could get by with only the 4, but then further consultation, in him looking at it, I decided for continuity, for cosmetic, it looked better to have all 6. So I had all 6 done.
Perfect. Okay, so I would assume, is it important for an attorney to have, in your line of work, do you think it's important that you have, like the most awesome smile possible?
I'll be candid with you. It is. I don't go to court as much as I used to, but appearances do matter to clients and when I go out and how I feel. But I didn't do this like from an egotistical standpoint, but I had one tooth that was coming back a little bit. That did bother me, and it bothered me when I felt it. But getting the benefit of having the 6 teeth done was good. And plus, the front 4 were probably 40 years old, and so they stayed in. And it's kind of like home to me. But I felt confident with Dr. Hartman and did a great job. So I'm glad I did it.
Perfect. Okay, so just real quick, guys, one thing I haven't done with him is I didn't tell him, and I'm just going to start them real quick. I didn't tell him ahead of time, hey, limit your answers, take about 5 to 10 seconds to tell me X. Okay, because I want to hear what he's got to say just for this purpose. But normally he would say, just take about 5 to 10 seconds, because otherwise you might not know how much to say. You start trying to create stuff because you don't know when to stop. So it's just really an assistance for them. This is very easy. This is not like threatening to you or anything else. This is very easy.
This is very easy.
See, guys? And if someone says no, they're not saying no to them. They're just like, not today. Usually it's women when they don't have their makeup on. Okay, and so just here's another question. If someone were to ask you, hey, listen, I noticed you got a great smile, which is going to happen at some point. If it hasn't happened already, but I don't know if you got those done today or not. But what would you say to them if they said, hey, do you know a really good dentist that I can see? What might you say if you only had like 5 to 10 seconds to tell them about Dr. Nathan? What might you say to them if someone were to ask you?
I definitely recommend Dr. David Hartman. He exudes confidence. That's a much better way of saying it.
Yes.
I felt very confident with what he was recommending, and therefore I did it, and I'm glad I did it.
Do you feel that in your time here that is he trustworthy? Do you feel like?
Absolutely.
Answer that in complete sentence. Okay.
I find Dr. Hartman extremely trustworthy.
Is he a fun guy? Is Dr. Nathan a fun guy, or is he kind of like dull and drab?
No, Dr. Nathan's a great guy. He's a fun guy.
Okay, moving on to step number 4, which has to do with the camera angle and the positioning of your subject on the video. Now I'm going to play another short video clip for you, and as you watch, I want you to think about the camera angle and the position of the subject in the video. Now after the video plays, I'm going to run through a couple of important points with you.
What's your name, where do you live, and how long have you been a patient of Bowley Family Dentistry?
Jonna Newton in Simsonia, Kentucky, and I've been probably 2 years now.
How did you find out about our office? Did someone refer you?
Yes, but I can't remember who.
That's okay. What makes you keep coming back to see us?
I've been really happy with my services, and y'all worked with me very well on payments, and we did very good on everything, so.
Perfect. What kind of dental work have you had done here? Was it painless? Do you love your smile now?
Yeah, it was very painless. I'm very happy with my smile. I probably got a little bit more to go, but we're working on that.
Great. What do you like about the staff here?
I like all the girls. They're very, very nice. Everybody seems very friendly and very helpful when I have a question.
Great. Would you feel comfortable referring your friends or coworkers to us?
I have, and I would, and I have referred some people, so I hope they've came.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the camera angle or the subject's positioning did you notice in this video that could have been done better? Bingo. The first thing you notice is that the camera is lower than the subject. And this can create significant problems for you for a variety of reasons. The most important of which is that it makes your subjects look heavier, which is a nice way of saying fatter on video. So to get this right, make sure that the camera is at a slightly higher angle, filming at say like a 3 to 7 degree downward angle. This will not only keep your subject's double chin from jumping out on the screen, but it will oftentimes make your heavier subjects look thinner on camera, which will result in your interviewees being much happier with the finished videos. And so I can't stress how important these little nuances are. And as an example, we had clients on 2 separate occasions where they got fabulous videos from their clients, but the client refused to let them use the video in each case because the camera angle was off and the client felt like they looked fat on video. In both cases, a second video was never obtained and a tremendous opportunity was lost. Now, something else you're going to notice in this video is that they cut the subject's head and their body off. Now, you don't need to get your subject's entire body in the video, like from their head down to their feet, because then the camera angle would be too far away and you wouldn't be able to see their facial expressions clearly. But you do want to get them from, say, the chest up and get all of that part of their body in the video. Okay. The next thing I see isn't that big of a deal in this video, but in many of the videos I've seen, it's a big problem. Notice in the upper left of the video a file rack with papers in them on the wall. Not a deal killer by any stretch, but I've seen videos with boxes and clutter piled up behind the subject, and in one case, a guy that actually owned a collision center, a body shop that repaired damaged vehicles, shot a video with a poster hanging behind the subject, and the poster was of a very scantily clad woman, if you would call it that. The woman was actually wearing a cut-off t-shirt with half of her you-know-what hanging out, the bottom of the t-shirt, cut off very, very short jean shorts, and cowboy boots. Not the kind of backdrop you want in your videos. Now, I'm going to get ahead of myself here for just a moment and point something out that's a big, big no-no. And it's this. The interviewer's voice should never be heard in the video. In this case, not only was the interviewer's voice left in the video, but the girl doing the interview wasn't personable. She didn't try to put the subject at ease, didn't try to engage in conversation to relax the person, in this case, a dental patient, and you could tell she didn't put any real effort into doing the interview correctly. Now, we'll dive into this in a few minutes, but suffice it to say that if your clients, customers, or patients are going to do this for you, they're going to give you a testimonial and their time, you should approach this process, as well as your employees, with the highest level of professionalism possible. These videos reflect directly on you. And if you or your employees approach this process with apathy, you'd be better off not doing them. Okay, now that we've actually covered the technical stuff, let's dive into the process of getting some awesome interviews. Now, I want to just start off with an empathetic yes, there is a right way to do this and about a bazillion wrong ways to do this. So let's take a quick look at each step in the process. Now, I'm going to run through these pretty quickly, so please pay close attention. These methods have been tested thousands of times, and the strategies and steps I've included for you are the ones that have been proven in the trenches to work. It's like baking a cake. Leave an ingredient out or change something, and your cake is not going to taste as good as mine. Even worse, you run the risk of ruining your cake. Remember, not only do you want to get a compelling video testimonial out of each interviewee, but you want the experience to be exciting and fun for your client, your customer, or your patient. If you're unsure of yourself, if you're unorganized, or if you forget to charge your battery or whatever, you could end up looking like a moron. So take this process seriously, and when you can do this right, these videos will help you make more money than you ever dreamed possible. Okay, here are the steps you want to follow for doing a great interview. First, tell your subject that you want them to imagine that the interview is more like 2 friends sitting down at Starbucks chit-chatting over a nice hot latte, so the conversation is very, very relaxed. And if you, the interviewer, screw it up, or if they, the interviewee, screws up, it's all good. You'll just redo the question and answer, no problem. Next, tell them that each time you ask a question, you need them to hold off on answering until after you have asked the entire question. Additionally, They need to answer you in a complete sentence because you're going to edit your voice out of the video. Listen, this is critically important. Now, to make sure that your subjects are answering you in complete sentences, get into the habit of telling them to incorporate your question or your statement-question combination into their answer. Here's an example of what I might ask one of my clients in this process, and specifically an example of how this works when you're asking a straightforward question. In percentages or average monthly revenue, tell me what your average monthly revenues were before you started working with me 6 months ago, and then tell me in the same sentence how much they've gone up since you started working with me. And my client would then answer by saying something like, well, our average revenue for 2 quarters before we started working with you, Ken, was $110,112 a month. We've been working with you now for 6 months, and our average revenue over the last 3 months has been $131,437 per month. That's a 19% increase in monthly revenue, and based on everything you've helped us implement, we're just getting started. Now, you can also use the technique I referred to as the statement-question combination. And here's how you use that technique and then get them to deploy it in their answer. You know, Mike, the numbers you reviewed with me before we started working together weren't terrible. In fact, they were better than most people in your industry. You guys were averaging $110,112 a month in gross revenue when we started working together, and we've been at this now for 6 months, and your average monthly revenues over the last 90 days have increased just over 19%, and we're just getting started. 90 days from now, your monthly revenue should have increased another $9,000 or $10,000 a month, if not more, which is awesome. Now, based on those stats, take a minute or two, Mike, and tell me how much your business has grown and describe additional growth we can see on the horizon for your business now that you're a client of mine. And then my client would answer by saying something like, since I started working with you 6 months ago, Ken, my business has seen a 19% increase in monthly collections, which we achieved in 90 days. And over the next 3 to 4 months, I can say with the utmost confidence that our monthly revenue will have increased by over 26% from when we started working with you. Now, I'd like to point out an additional strategy I use there that you definitely want to deploy. And I use that strategy when I pre-frame my question by telling the subject exactly how long his answer should be. You want to use this strategy with everyone because it prevents them from rambling. Okay, the next step in this process is to make sure that you never ask more than one question at a time. If your subject misunderstands your question and starts to give an answer you weren't looking for, use what I call a pattern interrupt. Touch them or use their name till they stop speaking, then tell them that you need to re-ask the question and have them start over. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you don't want the subject starting to talk and trying to answer your question while you're still talking, and the same goes for you. Never start talking. Whether it's to get them to expound on their answer or to start your next question, never talk while they're talking unless you're using a pattern interrupt and trying to keep them from rambling. The reason you don't want them talking and you don't want to be talking while they're talking is that you can't separate the voices if they overlap. And the finished product, meaning your final video, should never include your voice in it. Never. Okay, the next important element in the interview process is to get the subject to include the name of the doctor, business owner, and or the business in one or more of their answers. So here's an example of how that would work. First, ask the subject your question. Jim, take a minute or two and tell me what makes Dr. Jones different from the other doctors you've seen in the past and why that's important to you. And then your subject, Jim, would answer by saying something like, you know, the thing that makes Dr. Jones different from every doctor I've seen in the past is that he actually listens to me. He always explains things to me, and he does it in a way where he's talking to me like I'm an equal. Even though I'm the patient, Dr. Jones never talks down to me. The other doctors did talk down to me, and it really turned me off. I've always resented the way doctors talk to me, but not anymore. Dr. Jones is the most authentic, professional doctor I've ever been to. Okay, it's time to talk about one of the most important elements in this entire process, which on our timeline is milestone number 6, which is how to get killer outcome-based social proof sales videos from your clients. Okay, I already gave you one great example of an outcome-based video testimonial, and now that I've covered that example with you, I'm going to run through important instructions so you can create the most effective outcome-based social proof sales videos possible. In these next several slides, we're going to look at actual testimonial videos our clients made. I'm using a combination of correctly done videos and ones that were done incorrectly so you can experience how to do this right. So the next thing you'll want to recommend to your subject takes place at the introduction, and this is where you want to instruct subjects to use their first name only. Subjects tend to run their first and last name together because you want to give them a certain degree of anonymity You've got to tell them up front to only use their first name. So your question to get them to introduce themselves would sound something like this. Okay, Alex, the first question I have for you is the introduction. So take about 15 to 20 seconds and introduce yourself by telling me your first name, what you do for a living, and, if applicable, what is the name of your company. Now, in most cases, self-employed people love to share the name of their business. Not all employed people, however, want to share that, which is totally okay. So Alex might answer by saying, "My name is Alex, and I've been an electrical engineer for 14 years now." Let me quickly mention that if it's relevant and if your subject doesn't care, ask them to say their age as well. Never ask a minor child how old they are, and make sure to tell a minor you're interviewing, if they're a student, to leave out the name of their school. So here's an example of someone who did it wrong, and they let their interview subject say their first and last name. You don't want to use the last name, and you don't need to use the last name, and because it's very difficult to edit, make sure to leave out the last name. Okay, watch this video and you'll instantly know what I'm talking about here.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for agreeing to do this video for us. Can you tell us your name and how and what you do?
Alex Akis. And,
I'm sorry. Complete sentences.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. That's okay. That's okay.
My name is Alex Akis. I'm an engineer. I work in Elmwood Park, about 20 minutes from there.
In this case, the interviewer did an excellent job stopping the interview subject when he didn't follow directions, then redirecting him by telling him to answer incomplete sentences. The problem, however, is that she didn't have him use his first name only. Okay, in the next video, we're going to see why your interview subjects have to answer incomplete sentences. Here we go.
All right. Well, tell me your first name and where do you live?
My name is Liz, and I live in West Dundee.
And how long have you been coming to Dr. Halibas?
Boy, that's a good question. Several years. I'm not really sure. You'd have to check the records, but quite a while.
Will you repeat that and just say, I've been coming to Dr. Halibas for so many years? Just in case if I want to say, okay, here's a patient that's been coming for so long. That would be awesome.
I don't know how many years it's been. I'm trying to think what the age of the boys were when we started.
It doesn't even.
Okay. I've been coming to Dr. Halibas for 7 years.
Wow, okay, alrighty. So if there's any one thing you can tell us that you love about coming to Dr. Halibas' office, what would it be?
Well, coming to the dentist is not a fun thing, but we like coming to Dr. Halibas' office because everyone's friendly. They make you relaxed no matter what procedure you're having. They're always very friendly.
Okay. And who did you bring with today? And what did you tell her and why she should come to this office?
Today I brought my mom with to see Dr. Halibas for the first time. She was switching from a dentist out of town, and my father had just passed away, and my mom was very nervous about coming. And so I brought her today to have a cleaning, and everyone made her feel very comfortable. She was very nervous, and so I think it'll be a good thing, and I think she'll be back.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything, Liz, that we should be doing differently to be sure that you continue to have a wonderful experience here?
The interviewer, Mary, didn't follow my instructions and allowed the patient to answer in an incomplete sentence. Remember, we're going to edit the interviewer out. So if your interview subject is answering in incomplete sentences, you're going to have an incoherent, nonsensical video when you're done. A total waste of time. All right, in this next video, the interviewer isn't following the instructions we outlined in the video testimonial system, but for the most part, the interviewee is unwittingly picking up the slack and giving great answers.
What's your name, where do you live, and how long have you been a patient here at Bowley Family Dentistry?
My name is Linda Painter. I live in the city of Paducah, and I have been a patient of Dr. Bowley's for about 25 years.
Wow. How did you find our office?
Well, I found Dr. Bowley a long time ago when he still practiced in Ledbetter, and he was recommended to me by a friend.
And what makes you keep coming back to see Dr. Bowley here at the office?
I just really like Dr. Bowley. He's just a great guy, personable, he's very professional, and I like his staff.
And what kind of work have you had done here at the office?
Mostly crowns and cleaning. That's the type of work I've had done.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your crown appointments. Have you recently had the one-day crown that we do?
I just experienced the one-day crown. In fact, I experienced 2 crowns in the same day, and I am just blown away by the ease of it all.
The appointment's not very long. You don't have to come back multiple times?
See, I love the fact that you don't have to come back multiple times. The first time I had a crown done here, I had to come back. This time, I got everything done in one day, and it was great.
Okay. And was it painless?
It was absolutely painless. I had just the gas that you can breathe in, and it was just a great experience. I felt very relaxed, very at ease, and I'm kind of a high-tense person, so it was very nice just to be very relaxed.
Good. And do you love your smile now?
I do. I love my smile, yes, absolutely.
And have you ever had a less than pleasant dental experience at another office?
The only other experience that I can remember is when I was a child, and that was not a good experience. So I can't really even compare it to that other than it wasn't good, and this one was good.
Good, we're glad to have you. And how did coming to Bowley Family Dentistry ease your dental fears?
I have seen so many advertisements on TV. The one I love is the girl with the sunglasses and like she's on the beach, and that is really what keeps me coming here, actually, is just the fact that you're made to feel at ease the minute you walk in the door, and I really like that.
Good, I'm glad. And how does this office stack up to other offices that you've been to as far as like technology? And I know you've been coming here for a long time, but other offices, how do they compare?
Well, not having been except just to one other dental office, the technology here today, I was absolutely blown away by not only just the technology, how they can measure the crowns, get them done in one day. I mean, that's just phenomenal to me.
It is. We've come a long way in the dental world.
Absolutely.
And what do you like about the staff here?
I love the staff. Everybody's so friendly. They make you feel at ease the minute you walk in the door. You feel, you have that conversation. It's like us sitting here having a conversation. That's what I like about it. It's been a very pleasant experience.
Good. And would you refer your friends and family to Bowley Family Dentistry?
I would absolutely refer my friends and family. In fact, when I go home, I think I'm going to tell my husband he needs to switch dentists and come to mine.
I think it's a great idea.
In this next video, the interviewer and the interviewee are talking over each other. When this occurs, the video is useless. It is impossible to edit overlapping voices.
And so, okay. All right, Dan. Will you tell me your first name and where you live?
My name's Diane, and I live in Streamwood.
Okay, all right.
Which isn't too far from here.
Okay, all righty. Now, you've been gone for a while, but you came back. What brought you back?
Well, okay, I haven't been gone, but I mean, I was here last year.
Yeah.
And I've been coming here for probably 8 years.
Okay.
And the reason I came here and stayed was because I went to a couple other dentists, and there were things about their office that I didn't like.
Okay. Can you share what that is? What you didn't like
Yeah.
about that one? So I'm going to be sure it doesn't happen here. We want to make sure you get
it
the right
has
thing
never
here.
happened here.
Okay.
One thing I noticed at another dentist was I went in and they were not up to date with their equipment, with the way the office looked. It was, one office was dirty.
Okay.
And the dentist went to do something, and there was dust on the machine, piece of equipment he was using.
Oh, jeez.
Not good. The pamphlets and magazines and everything he had out were 4 years old. I mean, you notice stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
If the office isn't up to date, if it's not clean, if they're blowing dust off of something they're going to use, I don't want to go there. This place is always immaculate. You can tell that someone really cares because everything you use, the latest, the most modern equipment. You walk in, it looks like it's invites you in. The color scheme, the furniture, everything you can tell is done for the comfort of the patient.
In this next video, the interviewer is asking more than one question at a time. This is obviously a mistake. Also, I want you to note all the other no-nos that are occurring in the background.
Tell me your first name, how long you have been a patient, and what treatment you had done here at Belly Family Dentistry.
My name is Ruth Aldridge, and I have been a patient here for over a year, and I had so many implants inserted.
How did you find our office? Did someone refer you?
I saw it on television on Channel 6.
Okay. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I saw it first. Forget it.
I found the dental office on WPS.
Okay, I found out about Dr. Bowley's office and the dental office on Channel 6.
What makes you keep coming back to us?
Well, because of the service, the doctors, and especially the personnel.
Have you ever had a less than pleasant dental experience with a previous dentist? Has coming back to Belly Family Dentistry eased your dental fears? How does this office stack up compared to others you have been in the past? You want me to repeat it?
I do, because that was 3 of them. I was trying to think what it was.
I'll do the first one.
Okay.
Have you, and then repeat the question.
Okay.
All right, I'm not going to make you suffer through any more of this video, so if you're ready, let's go ahead and move on to the next section. In this next video, the interviewer did a horrible job by completely ignoring every instruction they were given. This is a useless video and a complete waste of the subject's time.
Hello, my name is Carisha. I've been a patient for probably just about a month now. My mom is a patient here, and so she's been going here for a while. And so she was like, hey, you should go here. And so I came last month to get a cleaning and to check out, and it was actually really nice. Everyone was very friendly and helped out, and so I felt the need to come back for a few more visits, and so I did that today, and we used nitrous, which was really nice. It helped me relax and calm me down, because the dentist can be kind of nerve-wracking, but it was really calm, and everyone was able to talk to me through the process and tell me what was going on, which I appreciated as well.
Great. Great. Awesome.
And in the final video I'm going to show you today, you'll see how Clear Choice Dental used every element from the Social Proof Selling video testimonial training beautifully. Now, something I want to note, we haven't offered the advanced training to anyone other than clients, but you'll learn more about this after this last video.
My name is Krista, and this is my Clear Choice story. Happiness is only a cupcake away. I've been baking for 4 years on my own out of the kitchen. We do custom cakes. Do you want to help me with this part? There we go. Her cupcakes are, oh my gosh, yum. She's such an amazing human being. She fiercely loves her family, her friends, strangers. She'll make little care packets, and she'll, feed the homeless. She incorporates that with her children. I mean, she's really an incredible human being. So I have 3 kids. Tina's 13, Brooke is 10, Levi is 3. Woo! Good job, Brooke. When I was younger, my teeth weren't that bad, but when I got pregnant with my daughter Brooke, that's when things really started going bad. One of my front teeth right up here actually broke. It broke off. It just spread. It went pretty quick. I have a partial. This is my partial. So here it is, my fake teeth. Without the partial is this. It's embarrassing. Not only does this not look pretty, but it's painful. So Krista is a family friend of mine. She has beautiful eyes, beautiful soul, but I just didn't see that smile. She was struggling through that, but hiding it, kind of putting up a wall and really, putting her kids ahead of herself. And a lot of moms, they really put themselves second and their children first. So the kids get the dental checkups. And mom, of course, she's the one taking care of the kids and doesn't necessarily have the time to invest in herself. I definitely put my kids before myself. And I was like, this has got to change. I have to put myself first. Something has to be done. The first time I went in was because of my friend Laura. She works there, and she was like, girl, just come in. Let's give you a free consultation. And after I talked to everybody, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want. This is most definitely what I want. Some more office, you know. She had a lot of teeth that they were failing. She was hopeless. She didn't know that there could be something that could give her a beautiful smile, and that could be something permanent, that she didn't have to end up in a denture. It's life-changing. It's gonna help me reach my goals. It's gonna be healthier and feel better. To show my kids. I'm not gonna cry right now. I'm just not gonna do that, but it just feels so good. Just like hope.
How are ya?
Good.
Good to see you with everything. I am so excited for you today. I think I have the wrong room.
Definitely not.
Gorgeous.
Good. We have that upstairs.
All right.
You got some teeth. So pretty. Gosh, you look pretty so much. I swear to God, I almost cried. She has this beautiful personality. She's a happy person. Now she has the smile that allows her to just be her. Oh, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure, really.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for letting me do that. Okay.
So to be able to see her smile and have that confidence, it just, she deserves it, you know?
Okay, now let's head back to our timeline and look at milestone number 7, which is editing the videos best practices. You have to edit your videos so that they're short sound bites. You can also include inspirational music in the background, and you want the interviewer's voice, as I mentioned, to be completely removed. And we'll cover the editing process in greater depth in just a bit. Our next and final milestone on our timeline is number 8. Deploying and using your social proof sales testimonial videos online and off for maximum effectiveness. Certainly, you're going to want to use these videos on social media, on your website, in your office, and in the various and specialized forms of media I've discovered so you can wield what lawyers call a preponderance of evidence, which is an overwhelming amount of evidence. And in this case, it's an overwhelming amount of social proof evidence on video where your clients, customers, or patients are doing the heavy lifting, where you let them sell it for you. So if you'd like to be able to generate leads and attract new prospects at will, and if you'd like to make your advertising, marketing, and sales process easy and effortless, if you'd like to learn how to let your clients, customers, or patients do the selling for you, and if you like the kind of stuff I've shown you today, I have something really, really cool for you. The training video you've been watching today is part of a campaign to generate interest and build value for a new class I'm releasing called Social Proof Profits. Social Proof Profits is arguably the single most effective training you can get on how to use social proof in your video testimonial and sales videos, in your ads online and off, in your marketing campaigns online and off, in your sales presentations, in your storytelling for business, and in your communications like your email, on your website, on social media, marketing collateral you hand out, and so many more that we just don't have time to mention here. And do it in a way that makes your entire marketplace feel like they know, like, and trust you in multiple ways, not just the way I'm showing you here. And it also shows you how to use the sales control marketing methodology to sell things to those leads. And that is a very, very new and very, very cool type of marketing that simply did not exist back when I first began deploying these methods 25 years ago. Most of these methods and the technology we have access today didn't exist then. So in Social Proof Profits, I'm going to teach you my most advanced strategies, where you're going to learn how to utilize the great psychological strategies that have been proven time and time and time again by real marketing masters. And then we're going to integrate cool modern tech stuff with it to make it even more effective, like 10x. The tech stuff is easy tech stuff. I do all my own. It's usually like press buttons and drag and drop type stuff. So if you want to be thought of as the good guy in your marketplace, and if you want to really attract not just prospects, but if you want to attract clients, customers, or patients, And if you want to learn how to turn those prospects into clients, customers, or patients in a way that they find that it's valuable to them, even in and of itself, meaning that they find your marketing to be so good that they actually feel it's something of value, kind of like the way you hopefully feel about this video, right? If you want to learn how to do that, then Social Proof Profits is for you. It's not for sale right now, and you'll get an early notification of when it's available if you want to. And you should see under this video a little button where you can click it and you can opt in for my early bird list. Now, the reason you're going to want to do that is twofold. Number one, you can get an early notification of when this goes on sale so you can beat everyone else. And number two, this class is going to have very limited seating because I'm going to teach it live. And what that means is every week I give you lessons on how to build this machine that sort of fuels your sales and drives your business. And after each lesson on every week, we have a group Q&A call. So because those calls are going to be live, meaning that you and I are going to be on the phone with the rest of your classmates, and I'm going to answer your questions directly and literally help you with exactly what's going on in your business as it relates to this stuff, I can't have a ton of people in the class. This is my first major promotion in over 2 years. Every single promotion I've ever done that is in this style has sold out within a matter of days. So I think it's very likely that this one's going to sell out as well. Now, I'm sure you don't really care about my promotions personally, but if you want more of this, and if you really want to take what you think is cool in this video and 10x it to a level that is just ridiculously effective, and that has literally made just millions, literally millions of dollars in sales in my business personally, and if you want to see things that probably nobody in your marketplace has even ever considered that can really help you be the number one person in your market, forget about number one in sales, but let's think about number one in goodwill, number one in celebrity, number one in brand value on top of the sales, right? If you want that type of outcome, I strongly encourage you to take this class. Now, like I said, it's not for sale right now, but if you opt into the early bird list, you will get early notification and you will get a first crack at it above and beyond the rest of the general public. I have just a few dozen seats available in this first live class, and as of last month, I had over 82,000 people download my podcast. So that should give you some indication about the size of my list, just from the Get Clients Now podcast, and that's only one of my lists. And other people are likely sending people to this class as well, other affiliates and other thought leaders within the marketing space. So anyway, enough of the pitch here. Listen, if you like this, you would really like Social Proof Profits. You could make up your mind whether you want to buy it later, but at least get in on the early bird list so that you can find out about it, so you can get a jump ahead of the rest of the crowd. Okay, anyway, I really enjoyed making this video for you. I love making all these types of videos and tutorials for you, and I really appreciate the fact that you watched it, and I appreciate your attention. Folks like you allow me to live really my dream passion, which is to do and talk about and study marketing for a living. So I'm really appreciative of you, and I thank you so much for your attention. So get out there, use this template, test these strategies out, and let me know how it works for you. I'm really excited to hear about your stories of success. All right, so thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
Our objective with this podcast is to help you and your business stand out in the marketplace by crystallizing your messaging, marketing, and communications. On behalf of the whole Ken Newhouse team, thanks for listening.